Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we've got an absolute banger. The World Finals Grand Final, Crazy Raccoon versus Humble. This is a rematch of the last World Finals, which is absolutely insane. This is also a rematch of the group stage, which happened today. So in terms of context, guys, Crazy Raccoon Humble last year, Humble won 3-0 in a really convincing sweep, which instead of Milcreo, there was Saitampo, and in this year, Crazy Raccoon reverse swept Humble in the group stage. So just a little bit of lore behind that. In terms of what's at stake here, we've got Humble, which, like I said, won it last year, so they can go back to back. Already a two-time world champion, and if he wins this, he will solidify himself as the GOAT in Brawl Stars. Overall, he can win it 3 times. Moya as well has came second twice. He's won mid-season invitational, but he's not actually won the world finals, which was surprising to me. And then Milcreo, who also is a veteran. I mean, I didn't want to mention myself here, but I did beat Milcreo in the 2019 Grand Final World Final. And he's kind of had a turbulent, I think he retired or didn't really play too much after that. And then he came back and he's not really been on a great team. And now he's literally on one of the best teams inside of the world. So you really love to see it. So this is going to be a banger is what I'm trying to say. So overall, let's talk about the draft then. So one thing that concerned me about this draft, again, I've not really watched too much of the World Finals. Like I was watching a little bit in the background, like a tiny bit. But I'm on my honeymoon, so I couldn't really watch it when I was having fun at night. And a little bit drunk, but anyways, we don't talk about that. So in terms of this draft, it did confuse me a bit, guys, because Crow first pick, you think you can really counter it, maybe with even a Lola would be better, but they go with Byron Amber. So Crow's always good into Amber, guys. I've told you that for years. And Crow is pretty good into Byron as well, because once Crow gets jumped, you can jump onto Byron. You've also got anti-heal against Byron. So I'm unsure on Humble's kind of draft process here. I'd definitely like to hear Semantics run through of this once he gets back, but they go with a Lily last pick. So Lily's good into control brawlers. I just feel like I didn't really know what to go, because the problem is, is you got 3 kind of control brawlers, but all of these brawlers, if you're not careful, you're going to be feeding them a lot of supers. Like Crow, if you're running assassins, yeah, he's got low DPS, but he's going to be feeding the hypercharge for free, and that's going to get you 25% minimum onto a safe. Loader as well. So if I were Humble, I don't know, I think they took the Amber because they didn't want Crazy Raccoon to get Amber. That is my guess, because they could probably pick Lily out of Lola. I mean, out of Lola instead of the Amber, basically. Byron is always good on this map, but I was just thinking overall, again, I'm not completely tapped in with the meta and the drafts overall, but Lily's good, but the problem is a lot of these brawlers aren't on the squishier side. So with a Lily matchup, you want at least one squishy Sniper or something along those lines. Whereas here, they're all on the tanky side, but Lily's going to get some good damage there. So well played from Semantic. But overall, the pressure is just going to be staying on the side of Crazy Raccoon. So I think Milcreo, that was a really good jump. He got a lot of damage with that jump. I think he goes for that because he knows that Byron's not close to super, or he's just used ammunition. So I didn't watch it completely in the moment, but that was just a really well-timed jump to get that kill. So Milcreo already, thanks to that jump as well, has got a hypercharge. He gets a pinch as well. The thing about Juju, which is pretty interesting to me, so she's just a really good floating brawler around the middle, and she can always get some shots off on the safe easily. Through this grass, so that's good. But I just realized there, if there's an aggro pick like a Carl, a Lily, or Melody's Band, Juju can pinch out really well on this map. So I'm learning things. Definitely for sure still here. So Semantic is getting some good pressure here. He's going to get 10 side pretty weak, but Hypercharge is going to push Lukey all the way back into spawn. And I'm just yet to really see Boss get a chance to push up here. I'm yet to see Lukey get involved, because they're just constantly on the back foot here. Moya is just playing the game of his life here on the Lola. He is just not letting Boss pass. Crazy Raccoon just look determined. They look not undefeatable, but bro, they are so locked in. Beating SK on the way to this, yeah, they want this world championship more than anyone. So Semantic, really well-timed gadget here. Should be able to kill Moya, or at least get Moya weak. But look at this. It's took him 2 minutes to just get any type of map control. Semantic's going to get another kill there, so he's playing really well. But this Juju's just proven to be a really good draft pick, especially into this Byron. So maybe Byron's a little bit weak. So I've been liking Baron in the meta, but I was noticing that he wasn't being drafted too much in terms of these pro games, because maybe there are some weaknesses. The pros can definitely get a Baron down, and that's going to be the first game quite convincingly going the way of Crazy Raccoon. So what I was saying, I literally had to redo this because, again, I'm in the Maldives, so it's a little bit sketch, but I was rambling on about, in terms of like the meta, in terms of East Asia, they really like control compositions, right? And in scrims, I was noticing before I went away is that when Humble and SK were facing off against East Asia, so like Crazy Raccoon, Zeta, and Reject, their win rates were definitely going a lot down. Like, but overall, like, they're beating other teams, so they were definitely struggling, especially SK. That's why I wasn't like totally convinced with SK beating Crazy Raccoon, but I think a lot of people, well, all the casters voted for SK, for example. So yeah, that's what we get for Doubton, the GOAT Tensai in that moment. But I think it's clear in the control versus control, you know, Crazy Raccoon, Zeta, they're very mechanical players. They're just so good at getting value at every single life, just makes it really hard to deal with. So I think the previous meta in LCQ, I don't know if I spoke about that in this recording, it was a very crazy aggro hypercharge meta, as you guys know. Also, Crazy Raccoon, if you didn't know, literally nearly didn't qualify for the World Finals. They had to reverse sweep Casa Brawl to even make it here, which just makes it even more of an insane story, which is why I didn't predict them this time. I think the last two World Finals, I predicted them to win, and I think they came second twice. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, normally always go for Crazy Raccoon, guys. I'm like the biggest Crazy Raccoon glazer, but then I turned into a Humble glazer, apparently. All right, so Humble are doing a bit better this time around. I mean, Scientic's doing a really good job of getting kills, but it's just time and time again, like Moya, Tensai, they're just the ones getting control. That was a really good gadget away from Moya there. Like I said, he's just been playing it so clean, and you know, Moya I've always known as a good player, but there's like a few instances where he made a few small mistakes in previous World Finals, and this World Finals, I'm just yet to really, when I've watched him, see him make any mistakes, which is just crazy. Bill Cray with another killer onto Amber again. Like, the crow jump can always just get so much value into Amber and the Baron. So Humble are actually winning it this time around. Spen's going to pop Hypercharge, which definitely a bit preempted. He must have been really close to his super there. So again, Baron goes down. Bro, this Juju pick is just proven too good. It can just clean up like crazy. How do you even counter it? So yeah, Spentic finally gets super here. He's gonna nearly get the kill onto Moya. That wasted utility might bite them in the back, but Humble are doing a good job of defending so far. Boss with a hypercharge. Crazy Raccoon just can't seem to get at the save. They're gonna try a few more shots, and it's literally a small percentage in it, and they manage to clutch things up. So wow, that was an intense last few seconds there. Again, there's a little bit, my Wi-Fi is terrible here as well, so you're gonna see a few cuts in between the games. I apologize, but yeah, that was really close. Super close there from Humble. And to be honest, it wasn't convincing. It just wasn't that, like, I don't even know how they got that much damage, to be honest. Was it all Semantic? I don't even know. So Semantic gets a really well-timed gadget there onto Moya. And just get his super, he's going to opt to use it. And I think they trade each other out. Potentially there, I think. Yeah, okay. So, again, like, Baron heals are just not going to be as great into a Crow. And Milcrater is not going to mind that because he's charging up a lot of his super, a lot of his hypercharge. So this is looking much better overall. They got the map control. I had to take a quick break there to get some water. But anyways, Semantic can manage to get a kill onto Moya there. But again, he's doing some fantastic pressure with the Lily. The Smart Lily's good. Like, I never said it was a bad pick, but it's just good for the overall pressure. It's hard to keep on top of a Lily. Constant invisibilities, constant hypercharges as well. I'm just trying to think what the other thing was here. But Juju now has map control. The bushes aren't opened up. So again, I'm trying to think where I would have gone. Whenever I see a Juju, I always just think straight away Brock. Think Brock straight away, just because you can break open all of the grass, and then Juju just isn't that great. But still, you got the thing here. Great kill from Milcrater. Maybe Brock isn't absolutely the best pick because Tensai can still like fly around with his water speed boost. But again, I'm thinking like more wall break would have been better, but maybe they thought they had that covered already with the Amber and they're breaking the grass and everything like that. But they're still doing an alright job here. Lukey manages to get the kill onto Tensai. It's looking much better for them overall here. Semantic's going to use the gadget to go up. He's just going to try and create some pressure here. Gets the hypercharge super onto the Crow as well. Just looking good for Humble, but we just can't seem to, like, Crazy Raccoon are dying a lot, but the Humble can't manage to get Crazy Raccoon all down at once. Well, we kind of did there, but they were all weak, so we can't really capitalize on it. And to be honest, only really Amber can capitalize onto safe damage here. So Smantic, again, really good kill onto Lolo. He's having the game of his life here. And you just think, like, oh, this Crow just gets another kill. It's like, how can they even do anything in this moment? Smantic's in the corner, but can get pinched out by Tensai. Moya is beaming Lukey here. Hypercharge coming down. Creo has the hypercharge as well. That's going to be the first bit of the safe cracked. And Humble just falter too quickly at the end there. And great comeback from Crazy Raccoon in the end. I just think Humble didn't really capitalize on that pressure at the end to get the safe damage that they needed. So, yeah, very close game, but Crazy Raccoon, they win that first set. All right, guys, jumping into set number 2, then we have Brawl, Pinhole, Punt. So for Pinhole, Punt, this is a little bit different because we're not really used to it in ranks. Bro, just get it over with, put the fries in the bag, and oh, yeah, it gets Kenji star power. Love to see it. By the way, that Heretics jersey is absolutely fire. I might need to pick that one up. So they're going to draft a Finks first pick here. So Finks is a fantastic brawler in the right hands, but just overall, just really good into everything, super consistent. And if you're good mechanically, like, did you see Saitampo on Finks? He just wasn't dying because I think you're very fast. Are you faster with Finks? Can't remember off the top of my head, but you just got much faster movement speed than other brawlers. And then of course you got the super that can help you in terms of juking. Just really good. So most people draft a Crow into a Finks. It's just a good counter, just because it's just easy to hit Crow against the Finks. And who are we going to get? The Pearl Skin. Oh, that's a Brawl Pass one. By the way, that's Coco. I know Coco. I always get to see him in the World Finals normally, but and then he didn't really get anything. All right. So next up, in terms of the next brawler, who do they go then into the thing? So they go to Ruffs. I completely forgot about the Ruffs. Ruffs is just really solid into everything. And you can probably be more safe going Ruffs on this map because it's really good at breaking open. Like, so use one super and you can break open like the left middle bit or the right middle bit. You've also got like Squeak Band, so you know that you're not going to have too many tough matchups in this overall. Again, I haven't done like my research on Pinhole Punt in terms of the draft, but I still feel like when I was watching the World Finals overall, I'm just really good at predicting what they should really go into most things. So in terms of this, so it would be hard to go an aggressive brawler, but you do kind of need something with a bit of aggression in Brawl Ball just to overall get map presence. It's pretty hard to play control brawlers on Brawl Ball. So they go a little bit weird here personally. So I just think like they can go a tank counter last pick here. They've got a lot of options that they can. I feel like Humble just have the power for draft it. I think they should be able to outdraft with this situation. We've got last pick. Crow already has two great matchups into Jae-Young, into Finks, and then they go with a Chester. So Chester is also a great brawler to have. So I think what they've done here is that they've gone a good tank counter but has a good hypercharge because that'll be fed from the Ruffs. So what would I have gone in this situation? Into a Draco. I think Chester's pretty much one of the most perfect picks you can get. Like, I can't really think of many other brawlers that would also be good into a Finks and Jae-Young as well. I'm trying to think who else. Like, who counts as Draco? You got like Lou that could be pretty good as well, but Lou's not the greatest at hitting Finks and Jae-Young. To open up the map with a Griff, people would say, but I'd never like Griff into brawlers like this. I honestly think that Chester's such a good pick. They could have gone like even more control and gone with like maybe even like a Sandy or something, but then they can't probably deal with the overall aggression of this team. So I just think they've got a perfect comp and they can score already here thanks to Boss and Lukey. So again, like with Draco, I do like a Draco a lot of times, but I feel like in the past, Crazy Raccoon have kind of forced a Draco pick. I don't like Draco now specifically in this meta outside of Hot Zone, but Moy's doing a great job here of surviving. Yeah, but I kind of feel sorry for him. It's such a tough Draco matchup. I think what they're going to rely off here, Crazy Raccoon, is just purely the hypercharge from the Draco to try and carry them here. But Boss, again, his job here is to probably break open the middle grass a little bit, just so there's not as much sneaking. So he probably wants like either like just two of the opposite corners, if that makes sense. So then they can't like connect into the bush. So he still needs one more wall break. Like there's going to be a lot of supers that boss needs here to try and stop them. So he goes for another super there, tries to hit it onto Draco, doesn't actually manage to do that. Again, Crow gets another kill onto Jae-Young. I just want to talk about the draft. Looks heavily in favor of Humble in my opinion. I think they surely have draft here in terms of Crow into like double good matchup. They got Ruffs into a lot of good things as well. Jae-Young can actually be pretty good into a Ruffs, by the way, because Ruffs is pretty squishy. But you can see here, now Ruffs has to power up. It's going to be pretty hard for Jae-Young to do too much here, and especially because like Jae-Young is a fast brawler, but Ruffs is really fast projectile hitting brawler. Like Ruffs is so OP, by the way. He's just so good at getting consistent damage. Another kill from Boss here, and that should be the game for Humble. So really good, really convincing in the first game. And you'd be watching this live and you're thinking, how would Crazy Raccoon even have a chance of coming back here? Because it looks like a pure outdraft. It looks like, Humble have locked in. They're playing it very well. They should be winning this. So a little bit, I don't know whether it's a drafting fault in the first set from Humble. My opinion, they probably could have drafted a little bit better. I think gameplay-wise, they couldn't really have done too much. Crazy Raccoon did well in draft, and gameplay-wise, I think Humble do have the draft, but Crazy Raccoon, they need this early pressure fast, because the longer you leave it against the Ruffs, and especially like the whole point of a Ruffs here and a Chester is to open up the map, expose a Draco. A Draco actually doesn't mind the map being open too much, especially once he gets his hypercharge. But yeah, just against the competition overall. So Moya times the gadget really well here. So he played it fantastically, and Crazy Raccoon are just going to get an easy walk in there. So really well played from them overall. The team play from Crazy Raccoon was just on another level this whole World Finals so far. So Moya, again, he's going to pop his super. Again, the thing with Draco's hardly been picked really this monthly final, even in Hot Zone. He's been picked a bit, I believe, off the top of my head, but nowhere near as much as before. The speed nerf definitely did impact Draco a lot, but again, they're probably going to be relying off his hypercharge. If you're taking a lot of damage with Draco, you're feeding a lot of hypercharge at the same time. So wall break coming in from Boss here to try and get them an easier goal opportunity. Moya is going to get tickled down by the poison, but he has hypercharge. There's 1 minute left. Humble still have a little bit of work to do. So to really break Crazy Raccoon, especially in Brawl, as I always say, guys, you've got to get like a team wipe. You've got to get 2 players, and then you've got to go for it. So this, by the way, was an absolutely insane super from Tensai. To slow that super down from Semantic, full glaze to Tensai to go. Absolutely, because that would have he would have been able to get that super. He would have been able to chain really easily as well. So yeah, this thing super is just built for the GOAT Tensai. With the Jukin. Yeah, it's literally insane. So here comes the hypercharge from Moya. He's going to get Lukey. He's going to get so much control. Well-timed gadget as well. And that's going to be the set going to Crazy Raccoon. So that was just a complete flip of the switch there. Completely. Like, Humble didn't completely dominate in that first game of the set. But, yeah, you can see even Humble fans, they do not... They look scared. You can just tell there's something different about Crazy Raccoon in this final. They're looking... absolutely final form, absolutely. So it's very key. I always say in Brawl Esports as well, you never want to peak too early. That is also the key of winning the World Finals. Never peak early on in the season. You want to peak right at the end. That can, of course, mean a lot in different aspects of sports, but I really like that quote personally. And it's exactly what Crazy Raccoon have been doing. Again, like, they did definitely struggle, but it just proves that even if you struggle in last chance qualifiers, you can make a run. Again, this happened to Bobby a couple of years ago. He went through LCQ and made second. So it's very doable for a lot of teams. It's just how you lock in mentally on game day, and who wants it more? Who's not going to crack under the pressure? Who has the mentality to win this? This is why I always say these key things that people forget about. Drafting and gameplay is very important, but these players are as good as each other. There's so many great players, and mental is very, very important. So let's see if Humble have the mental here. See if they can actually get a set under their belt. So again, the kind of game plan is here. So I'm liking Boss's wall breaks a lot more this time around. He's breaking open the map a lot more successfully. I feel like Lukey maybe should have just jumped in there no matter what. And Semantic uses hypercharge, but doesn't really cycle it the way that he wants. And now, because Lukey maybe didn't risk it a little bit, they could have maybe scored from that if Lukey jumped in on Jae-Young a bit earlier. I don't know. Again, like I'm not like picking up faults at any of these players. I'm just trying to come up with solutions as to how they could have maybe scored. So Luki's going to jump away here to try and survive, because once Milcrea does pop, maybe did he have his gadget available? Can't remember, Luki, but yeah, that's also a thing. Like Milcrea can pop out a lot of damage thanks to his gadget. So good kills here from Crazy Raccoon. Boss is going to be weak. Semantic is all that's left, and he's just going to survive in time. Super kicks it away. Luki with the kill still, even with the super active from Finks. And wow, that is an absolute, I remember watching that a little bit in live, and my heart went. I was like, what an insane defense from Humble. That was just crazy, the way that they got that really good clearance from Semantic. I thought this is their time right now. So another jump away from Luki, which that's kind of twice. I mean, when you jump away, you do like get the chance to maybe like kill the opposition with your super daggers you put out, but it feels like a wasted opportunity. I feel like the jump should have maybe been used against this Jay Young when you've got gadget available. But Hypercharge is coming in from Moya here in overtime, and it's just proven to be so much in terms of control. Tensai gets his super. Moya's in a great position. It's all left to Semantic again with Hypercharge pop. There's not much that he can really do, and Crazy Raccoon get the second set, and this is just absolutely insane. So for me, again, it's just the small things. Humble aren't doing like a lot of crazy things wrong, but I feel like they should have seized the opportunity to score a little bit quicker, maybe took a few more risks in them. Again, it's easy said than done looking back on things, but that's probably what they should have done. Maybe like a crow jump, maybe like the Hypercharge from Semantic didn't really like make it big impacts, just getting one kill. So there's a few things there, and then they let it get to overtime against a good overtime composition with Draco's Hypercharge. So they just needed to win before overtime popped. So yeah, Crazy Raccoon 2-0 up. Is it about to be another sweep in a final? But into set number 3 then, we have Bounty Hideout. You can see the bands on your screen right here. So with Hideout, I do think, again, it's a pretty mechanical map nowadays. Especially, like, this used to be the type of map where snipers weren't really, I mean, they were still decent, but Pro's ripping up the Humble. Clearly a Crazy Raccoon fan, but yeah, in terms of Bounty now, you can definitely get away with going snipers. You got Nanny about to return to the meta, but with Jay Young ban, you've only really got like max accounts of a Nanny. You know, Piper isn't even that good anymore, but Nanny definitely is a new beast. So yeah, they do go with Nanny here into the Baron if you're unsure. So of course, like, other snipers are really good into Baron because they lack more power in terms of their shots. Baron can still compete though. A good Baron can definitely, but he's on the squishier side. And then they go with a Gus. So Crazy Raccoon just always love Gus. Really easy brawler to hit in terms of shots. And they're probably thinking, all right, so if we're drafting Nanny pretty early on, they're probably going to go with like a Max or some type of speedy, aggressive composition to try and counter this Nanny. So, you know, Gus again can get pressured, but on a nice open map, it's pretty hard. Other than like Max is good into Nanny, but not the best into the Gus. So I've got with Charlie. So I actually really like this draft here from Humble again. They seem to have this in their pocket straight away, because you can tell, because they just draft the brawlers really fast. So they think they've got a really good combo here. And if you draft really fast, you kind of put the pressure on the opposition. And I love that meme, by the way. That's a really good meme. You put the pressure on the opposition, so they've got to come up with answers pretty fast. So in terms of what Crazy Raccoon are going to go here, they are going to go with a Meeple. So this actually surprised me a little bit. I guess Meeple's still good into this because you've got the Rage Quit gadget. But into a Charlie, I don't really normally draft Meeple into a Charlie. But yeah, you can see, I mean, Meeple's good. Meeple's one of the best brawlers. I think probably the biggest counter to Meeple on this map. Normally people draft Meeple pretty early, but then I think it came pretty clear that you can just go like a Brock. You could probably go like a Piper, Nanny, break open the walls, and Meeple's not the best. So there isn't any wall break on Humble's side. So that's probably like a weakness definitely to Humble's draft overall. But I still really like Humble's comp here. Really good gadget there from Semantic. That is absolutely insane. And Milcrea manages to find the taps, and he can get the kill, and he gets the refrag. So this is another really important thing when it comes down to Bounty. It's very important to like recognize when your teammates are in trouble, and most of the time your teammates should be able to hit enough shots to at least get them weak. So try and leave yourself in a position to get that kill, because in Bounty, it's not just like a straight team deathmatch where it's just a kill, a kill. You can get heavy swings in Bounty because of the stars. So again, a really good super here from Semantic. And Luki gets another good super onto Tensai as well. Tensai manages to stay alive. I feel like they maybe could have got that kill a bit quicker, but yeah, really well played from Humble. They're really taking the game to Crazy Raccoon. Even though it's a 2-0 scoreline, it really could have gone either way. There's a few small instances where it could have gone maybe a bit better. So Semantic jumps in here, gets the kill onto Tensai. And yeah, it's looking very good for Humble overall. We're getting good pressure. Humble and Boss, they're pairing really well with the healing with Charlie. Ollie's having some favourable matchups overall. And again, it's just looking really good for Humble. You're thinking the draft's looking pretty good. This is the same story as Brawl as well, where they just come out flying. But it feels like Crazy Raccoon can just always have something to prepare themselves for a moment like this. So again, like Humble are just completely dominating at this moment. Super comes down, maybe a little bit of a waste, but hype charge from Semantic as well. He's got to be careful of the Meeple gadget interrupting things. The hype charge is coming down. He's going to manage to get 2 people with this as well. This is absolutely insane. And Humble managed to get the win. And that was so convincing. That was really, really convincing. In terms of mid-set adjustments, what do Crazy Raccoon even do? Because they're just getting pressured like crazy. I think the problem is, right, is what a lot of people do in tournaments. It's hard to go like really aggressive compositions all the time because there are a lot of nerves. There are a lot of it's a lot of adrenaline. You can make more mistakes when you go with more aggressive options. It's more risky, right? Rather than control composition. So you see here, Crazy Raccoon, they managed to get the 3-star lead this time around, and Nanny Peeps flying around. This might be an opportunity for Humble to go through. So this is one thing that kind of concerned me when watching live, is that Boss was going a bit more solo. I mean, he's doing a fine job pressuring him back, but I think in this composition, you just need to pocket heal either a Charlie or a Ollie, and he goes a little bit more solo. So again, maybe that was them feeling a bit too, maybe overconfident in a way, even over 2-0 down. They looked a bit too overconfident. But again, he's playing really well overall, but I'm just noticing things like he's maybe going a bit too aggro himself here. I think he should be giving Charlie the heals here to push up, and then let Lukey pop off like he was in the first set, because it wasn't all Lukey that first game, but he just destroyed him. Like, he was so good with his jukes and just overall Charlie gameplay. So here they're in a bit of a difficult position. They need to get 2 kills no matter what because of the blue star, the way it's on Tensai. So yeah, 40 seconds left. They know not to rush things. They're still in a good moment. Boss is going to get weak here. The gadget from Tensai seems to be a really good counter to but Ollie. But here we go. There's a super here. They should be able to get the kill onto Moya. They do just that, but Tensai gets them really, really weak here. And it seems like Humble are in a winning position. Again, hype charge coming down from Meeple. And maybe a little bit of a waste there personally, but it means they get map control. We've got 20 seconds here with Humble in spawn pretty early on. It's just not looking the greatest for them. Semantic's looking for a breakaway. He's going to super, gets interrupted, and he gets taken down very, very swiftly there from Moya and Tensai, which is, I'd say, is a bit of a blunder from Semantic personally. Maybe he should have gone for Milcreo down the left instead. Maybe he thought even like he's going to definitely connect that super and gadget combination onto Moya, and even if he dies they can get the trade. But yeah, it just seemed like a bit of a misplay. Again, like mistakes can happen, but it's just not what you want from Humble when like someone makes maybe a bit of a bad judgment, a bit of a error, that can really haunt you in terms of just team confidence. You start doubting yourself a little bit, but now the mid star is very important, I believe, especially in a high pressured situation. They want that mid blue star, but the problem is here is that Humble's composition is very reliant of aggression with the Ollie, aggression with the Byron, and if they're playing it safe though, they're not going to get as much value and they're just going to eventually get pinched down. But it is literally a match point situation here, so much on the line. It's just chaotic. So Semantic jumps in here, getting tapped up, just barely manages to survive. He is using the speed star power here, which I don't mind, but after watching the first 2 sets, he didn't really get a whole ton of value here. But I guess he maybe doesn't need that extra shield, especially when you've got a Byron. So and there's no wall break, so you can pretty much build as only really a nanny. So already pinned back into spawn here. It's not looking good for Humble. There's still a minute left for Crazy Raccoon just to find that one kill. I think Semantic would just be waiting for a prime opportunity to super engage it onto any of them, but he hasn't really got the chance to do that just yet. Milcreo is kind of, I mean, Sensei's always got his gadget available, so you can't really go onto him. Your best bet would be against this nanny, but then you're pressuring into a high damage brawler here. So this is, again, this looks stupid, but it's just because it's a match point situation. Both teams are really locked in. They're trying to do everything to win this game. So Moya goes really well, does really well to survive there in the end. But 25 seconds left. Tensai's going to push down the far right, and they're going to look to try and make this last second push. 15 seconds left to win the World Finals in a sweep. They would love to do this. It looks like Milcreo is going to push in from the right. Tensai's pretty weak here. Milcreo is going to push in. Semantic's got super available. He's going to push a lot of people weak. Milcreo's pinching from the side. Semantic's going to jump in, gets the kill onto Moya. Supers to the right. And Milcreo's able to hit the game-winning shot, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. The buzzer beater to win it, because you would not want to give Humble any sort of momentum. Really, I feel like they had to shut them out right then, right now to win it. And Tensai, he becomes the Brawl Stars GOAT. 3 world final wins in, well, not in a row, just 3 wins, which is insane. No one's even got 2, I believe. Whilst Tensai has all 3. I think, Charpe has 2, doesn't he? I think. Anyways, Humble, I mean, you got to feel bad for him. Why is it always the finals, always a sweep or something? It's never like a set 5 kind of thing, but absolutely insane. You've got to be really happy for these guys. Moya finally wins the World Finals. You've got Milcreo, who finally, look at Moya already signing stuff after they won the World Finals. Love to see it. You got Milcreo, again, after competing in 2019, he manages to win the World Finals finally. I mean, absolutely crazy. And Relai as well, he's a world champion as a coach and as a player in 2020. So you can't hate a team like this winning the World Finals, because they deserve it. Really humble guys. Look at the smile on Tensai's face. Look at, like, you just love it. You just love it. But again, commiserations to Humble. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. A really good World Finals and a very fitting end. Never doubt the GOAT Tensai. I learnt my lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you later. Bye-bye.